Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intuitive Minds by Shelley and myself, where we elevate consciousness globally. Today on Intuitive Minds, we are thrilled to welcome Elena Yudakova, and our topic today is what you should know about past life regression therapy. So I'm going to introduce our speaker today, and Elena's journey to hypnotherapy began with a significant personal and professional transition. She holds a Bachelor of Law degree, but in 2019, while navigating a period of major life change, she decided to try hypnotherapy for the first time. The sessions were conducted remotely with a Russian hypnotherapist based in Moscow. While she was living in Cape Town, and then after just 5 sessions, she experienced a notable shift in her perception and internal landscape. More importantly, she saw the potential of hypnosis as an efficient and direct therapeutic tool, one that doesn't require years of talk therapy to create meaningful results. In 2022, she began her formal training with the South African Institute of Hypnotism and completed her certification in 2023. Her current practice is built around a structured, 4-tiered approach designed to guide clients through progressive sessions that access the subconscious mind and initiate targeted cognitive and emotional shifts. One of the specialized modalities she offers is past life regression, a technique that uses deep hypnosis to access the subconscious material, which may present as symbolic or literal past life memories. Whether viewed metaphorically or literally, this process often uncovers underlying influences related to present-day thought patterns, emotional responses, and behavior cycles. In addition to her South African certification, she is currently completing advanced training through a Russian school of integrative hypnotherapy. This program combines classical hypnosis with regression therapy, including parental, childhood, and ancestral. Now, it delights me for us to start this conversation, and Shelley, you asked the first question.
Well, Elena, I think that we've addressed a possible question of why you went into this already in that lovely preamble that you gave, James. And I would like to ask a question that around past life therapy, being a therapeutic experience and technique, which explores and retrieves those memories from previous lives and other incarnations. We often hear that term being said by many. And I wanted to ask you, do people need to believe in reincarnation for past life therapy to be effective, in your experience?
People come in with completely different background, and some of them they're so very spiritual, and somebody do not believe in God, somebody so into church, and usually it's good to find out what is your belief. And some people they're very, especially young generation, they don't put themselves in any category. And at the same time, they're so very open to, to the word spirit, to the word soul. So it's nice how, this social media and YouTube still doing its work. Yes, there is like bad side, but there is also this beautiful side because it's really such an expansion of reality. And it is a lot of ease and light. So when we are doing past life regression, I do ask about the belief in reincarnation. And some people say no. Even for myself, I cannot say that I'm 100% sure where am I during this experience. Even I have had, I don't know, probably like more than 5, but less than 10 past life regressions. And every time it takes me into a different one, according to the subject, to the theme which I want to address. And it is becoming part of my memory. It is becoming like my own history. So it works. It works in a way that you are getting a different angle of seeing yourself and a certain situation in your life. Like it is an additional experience which you would never have because it wouldn't be possible in the current life, but because you had your previous one, you're kind of extracting this experience from there. And yes, there are some traumatic episodes, but it is good to visit because we can, we can just relieve a pain point and witness what has happened. So it's kind of, I would say, from the soul perspective, I can see as a witness and make a different decision, make a different conclusion, or just create a learning out of it to finalize. So, and as soon as we finalizing something, it doesn't need to be kept, not in our mind, not in our psyche. So it's how release happening in our current life. And no, if in short answer, no, you don't need to believe in reincarnation. What you need to believe in your feeling, which is guiding you. And sometimes it might be very vivid and really something like a picture coming up. But sometimes it's completely, it's based on a sense, but it feels so right when you are saying it. For example, like, are you man or you woman? And it is a little bit distortion in the beginning, but then you are kind of dropping into experience, and then you can easily say who you are, how old you are, what's the scene around you. Yeah. So no, it doesn't matter. You can believe or do not believe, just experience it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Very nice question. Very good answer. Thank you very much. James, over to
Elena, can you describe the process of hypnotherapy and how that process might be therapeutic to the client?
Yeah, so my main tool, it is a regression. And mostly, for sure, we need to do a childhood regression. If I'm working with people with my 4 sessions, we go first into the childhood. But recently, because I'm studying in another school, they have a different approach to it. And now they're saying, no, actually, before dealing with your current life, go and clean up everything what was happening in the previous life. So for me, I still believe it doesn't matter. It's still good to approach it from those both sides, the current life and the previous one, kind of to remove those the weed out of the way. And so entire process happening through first event in this life, and we start to collect some knots or ties, karmic ties, which leads us to the previous life, and there we're gonna deal with everything what will come up. And techniques, it's too many of them, to list now, but most important to work with the body and with the feeling, because they're gonna talk very clearly. And especially if event was traumatic or event which was causing a lot of frustration. So now it's when my therapeutic skills coming up, and I can intervene by saying what to do with this feeling. Usually I'm asking what you would like to, how you would like to transform it. And client is never alone. It's something that we are doing together, like 2 of us. Like, I believe, like, our subconscious, it's becoming like one mechanism, like one machine, which leads us according to the intention. And and one thing, when somebody would do it by themselves. Even with YouTube video, I do not have anything against it, because it is possible. If you the one who is easily dropping into this state of relaxation. But to do it with the therapist, it's so very, it's healing by itself, because you feel like you're on some battlefield and you are not doing it alone. It's like suddenly there are two of you. Plus, we're always gonna bring this higher self. We can call it higher self. We can call it in many different ways, but it's probably my favorite, and usually people choosing this. It also can be someone who person loved a lot, maybe a grandmother or a loved one. So there is always an assistance, and this why it always brings different type of conclusions, and it's not only about the subject which person address before the session. A lot of the details which is going to be beneficial for their future life gonna be collected during those 90 minutes or 2-hour session. So it's quite practical.
The past life refers to the belief that a person's soul or spirit lived previous times, perhaps, let's say it that, frame it that way. And I'd like to see it as a continuation of the soul's journeys. That's how I look at this field, as a continuation. So a question that I think, whoops, my kitty's knocking the laptop here. The question I'd love for you to talk about to our audience is, why would one's soul choose such experiences to bring into a current life? Many are mystified. Why would my soul bring that in? This is my life here. Why would that happen? And I think it's a wonderful opportunity to dive deeper with you on that, because people need to hear the journey isn't one life, it's all lives. Why would our soul bring these issues into our current life?
Yeah. So there is always some exactly like lessons, and we do not like to, because a lot of the time it doesn't make sense. Why do I need to go through such a horrible experience?
Yeah.
And we all have our positive intentions, especially like, I'm a good person. I'm doing so much good around me. Why on earth something like that would happen to me? Exactly. And it's always, it comes to the point about, but how else to expand? How else to become like even higher than where you are? It's like, it's another upgrade. And there is different type of game. Yeah, there are sometimes we are all starting as I will say like, maybe it's a grass or insects. And maybe, as you are saying, maybe we are still taking those rest days when we are going into the body of, I don't know, of a cockroach, whatever. And we are living this kind of life, enjoying itself like by the ease of getting food and being satisfied by being that. And now we are having more refined experience, and experience getting more and more not like complicated, but complex.
Yes. Exactly.
If something haven't been learned, it's like in our current life, if we do not know why on earth it is happening with me, it's gonna be amplification. It's like we are now bumping into the wall, and it's too close. It needs to be like as much close as us as it is possible. So eventually we are getting idea what is going on. But it is very complicated, because reality constantly talking with us, but it talks not in a literal way.
Yes.
It talks in those kind of signals and signs and relationship, and this difficult person coming, and that difficult, I don't know, grocery woman just being rude to us. And eventually it's like it's all part of our own consciousness, and there is no randomness.
Yes.
So probably it's like, it's always, again, when we are taking this higher perspective, like whatever it is, like in the first session, we usually working with the higher self. Like when I'm meeting this something bigger than I am, which is bigger than anything else, it's gonna say exact answer. And this exact answer is not landing not too smoothly, because it's too accurate, and it might feel like very general, but it is so right. And when it falls on us during this relaxation, during hypnosis maybe, or guided meditation, somehow it makes complete sense. And then we can see it again from the different point, and then we are not cursing some event or some person for what has happened. But now we're looking at it, if it's not happening against of me, yes, Tony Robbins says, if it is happening for me, what is this for, would be for? Right. And the answer will come. It's going to be seen as the ideal pattern when we are looking back. Maybe not currently.
Beautiful, but, yeah. And it's
then,
realizing there are ways through people like yourself and many others that can tap into the incredible mystery that we are. But it's a mystery that has breadcrumbs. It has messages for those who understand those messages and who can guide us. And I know that trust is a big issue with patients, for them to trust another to guide them. And once that's built, then the guidance of that person, helping that person in that journey and asking the questions that perhaps the person isn't capable of asking at the time, or in the trauma or in the anxiety or whatever the story is, can't see those questions that you can. And that guidance is so important to help that person those journeys.
It's like, because it's like an art of interpretation. And what makes it difficult, because we all have our own map of how reality works.
Right, excellent.
Somebody I would call a flow, another person gonna call in a completely different way. So this is why I cannot suggest, and I cannot put my own perspective on somebody else's life. Same event gonna bring us different experience. And this is why everything what is happening in our mind, it happens firstly as a picture, as a sensation. Our body reacts with this feeling. And in hypnosis, in hypnotherapy, in past life regression, we are working with this first, with the fundamental, with the base of this huge building. Or the iceberg, like with the iceberg, which is like under the water and it's huge. And on top it's like this little triangle, which we understand. Navigating through this little triangle on top.
Beautiful. Wow, wonderful. Thank you, Elena. Lovely. James?
Elena, can you give us a few examples of things that we can work on in this lifetime that strongly relates to something that might have happened in a previous lifetime?
Yeah. So it might be same kind of things as somebody would go to psychotherapist to work with, or psychologist. So actually many different issues might be addressed. Like my favorite, it is anxiety, depression, physical diseases. I haven't been working with physical, but it is something which I'm very curious, because my course, Integrative Hypnotherapy, they're teaching us to work with physical issues, and everything gonna have a connection to our past life. Like some people getting this phantom pain, and actually any chronic pain, it is kept by the body as the way of saying to us something. Like, because usually, I mean, like we are still like, we are partially animal, we are animals. So our body have all the ability to heal itself. If it wasn't capable to do it in 6 months, it is the reason. It is the reasons that we are so very resistant resistant to this signal, that we have such a beautiful coping way how to not pay attention, that it should be some explosion. And the physical explosion, it's the most honest way how body can say what it's thinking about us, what it thinks about us, what it thinks about our approach to life.
Yes.
So it is beautiful that at least we have that indication. Otherwise, we would be too blind. We would really try to build ourselves to the machine, and I don't know, completely burn ourselves at work. I don't know, starve ourselves with diet, kill ourselves with races. You know, all the different kind of things which clients, humans, we are all doing with ourselves until body says stops and stopping ourselves from us. And yeah, so physical, it might be emotional, so codependence pattern. It might be addressed. If somebody would like to know why certain people come in into life, those people might have different faces, but they might have the same attributes, like cruel boss, and then before the boss it was a cruel husband, and before him it was the father, and it's this kind of thing, like everything have been recorded. Any type of anxiety can be addressed, because again, like why body would react in such a way, from where the stress is coming from. Yeah, and depression has a beginning, so it's a beautiful instrument to find from where it is coming from. Yeah, when it started. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Can anyone be regressed?
Yeah, everybody can be regressed. You know, I would say, because I'm not a visual person, so
right.
Because the language of subconscious, it is there are pictures or images,
Yes.
emotions, feelings, and it's only operation. It's how we operate in senses, smells.
Yeah.
So I'm operating on senses. I touch and feeling, but pictures for me are unavailable. I cannot see, but I cannot feel. This why when like in a past life regression, I was asked the question, so where are you? And I would just sense it, and it would be like Germany, and it would be such a, you know, again, like conscious mind is always present there.
Yes.
Like it doesn't disappear. This why it just in a moment it has a confusion. But because it's more quiet, it allows the speaking coming up. And it's exactly, and it felt so right. Like I said, Germany, and even I'm Russian and I'm living in Cape Town, and I do not have anything connected to Germany at all, only some people, like some international people from Cape Town. But it felt so right. So even if somebody is not visual, it is still possible. So again, we just need to find one of those attributes and feelings. We are all beings who have feelings. So and we are coming to the point that 10 out of 10 people have the ability to be regressed. But it also comes to the mindset, you know, because I cannot do it for anybody. There is a point of resistance. I also think about maybe it is not needed, because we are ready what we are ready for, and I'm welcoming if someone would just, you know, to roll up their eyes and say it's like no way, not a past regression, because it's fine. We still can work with the present life and find those events here. So open mind and just being in the present moment, yeah, because instructions are given. So what is necessary? Just to follow instructions, and they're simple. Yeah.
Very nice. And the person will guide. You can't force a person. I love that approach, because if there's going to be a forcing, what is the benefit? You know, the person's got to be having the mindset, the willingness, and maybe the motivation, but also the willingness to pursue something. And we can't force that. I totally agree.
Yeah, it should be like really this inner desire. This why, usually people who is somewhere on a rock bottom, they know that it is this sweet spot when it is impossible to go any more down. They just open to everything because they just want to get out of this. They want to be just a little bit higher. And it's how it works. Like it just bounces up, and it's the most easy way to work with people when that's it. It's done. I'm humble. I'm open to everything. And it's how I came to hypnotherapy because I was done. It was just enough.
I hear you and concur. Wonderful. Thanks, Elena. James?
Elena, is it possible to heal a physical symptom through past life regression? And can you also give us a practical example for the audience?
Yeah,
Thank you.
physical symptoms. So anything can be addressed again, like any chronic disease, if it sits with the person for the long time, it can be addressed in hypnotherapy. It doesn't mean that someone shouldn't do any medical intervention. It's actually it is good when it goes together, because like even a cancer, people who is getting a cancer, no, it's nice to have a chemotherapy. Let's say there are some people who is getting healed by just simply doing chemotherapy. But for myself, like I still believe about chemotherapy, just give some extra time so a person can change a lifestyle, can change some certain beliefs, and can find some other ways how the life can be lived. And hypnotherapy can be this tool when exactly we're gonna start to open the angles which were hidden, like those dark corners, again, which we were harnessing ourselves to walk around and do not even look there. With hypnotherapy now, we are dropping right there, and we are sitting with this feeling and doing the work. So in past life regression, we are doing, we follow the emotional content. Again, even like cancer or diabetes. Diabetic people, they didn't get it like overnight. There is always a pre-story. There is always amount of stress which was involved. Period when they find out. So even that last drop. So we are doing actually investigation. What was the last drop? Because it's a different content of this drop. For someone, it would be like, what's the poison inside? And according to this poison, we start to take another thread, and another trait, and then it's gonna bring us to the point of childhood and past life. And people with migraines, some of them, they were killed exactly into some area around the head in the past life regression. So it's all gonna be investigated, because even like now I'm saying it in a literal way. Like, okay, I have a painful shoulder. What the hell happened with me past life? And in a past life, it can be connected exactly. Maybe somebody killed this person, but maybe it was some emotional stuff. And this emotional stuff was connected to this, I don't know, lover who was so upset that it just hit me. And, again, we do not know how is it really past life. But what if it is a metaphor? And if we are living this metaphor so truly and reliving this emotion, how it would be if somebody I loved hit me so much and so painfully, we can start to release it. So any symptom, we're gonna take it as physical. So like, let's say pain, and some painful physical pain can be seen in a past life, or emotional. So it's gonna be some emotional stuff seen in the past life. Mm.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Elena, do you ever get any clients where your process is more about happy stories? Have you ever come across the capacity, or the person just comes out with joyful past life experiences? Or is it always going into the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle would call it, or the process, which is the understanding of what's going on in my life today? Was there trauma in the past, and what was that trauma? I'm fascinated just to think about, are there experiences that are happy that people get?
Yeah, and there are some it's a lot of benefits, to travel exactly in those past lives.
Right.
Because it will be a resourceful place. Even in our current life now, we have those areas which might be confusing.
Right.
But there are some areas which is so very easy. It's light. It's like you don't need to put much effort because it's obvious. So it's like, when we can start to actually wonder about our karma, what have I been doing that I have this privilege to have that? And it's like something for everybody different, where they have an a light, like some energy and electricity for their life now. So actually, in any life, anyway, it's going to be an experience, but it's going to be those areas which is nice and easy. If we are finding ourselves in those lives, we just want to feel it now. So we want to connect with what exactly brought me to the point in this life. What were my, I don't know, like maybe personality traits which helped me to create loving relationship in that lifetime. Right. And so we are trying to find those little keys, like those, again, little details which can change our perspective in our current reincarnation, we'll say. Yeah.
As a healer myself, working with people, it shocks me when I hear that people think that healing is painful, or they're scared to go into healing because of the painful or traumatic process that it reveals. Either they're not ready, fair enough, or they're not at the issues that they need to embrace, perhaps. But I see it as the most beautiful privilege of understanding self and the journey into that, because every piece is connected and every aspect with whom we meet is connected. And we step back from that level of awareness. It's this incredible journey of self-discovery to realize we share with everyone similarities, differences, but there are more similarities, and they're not all doom and gloom. It's also beautiful.
Yeah.
I just wondered about that question, because I remember a woman coming to me once and saying, "Oh, I'd never come to you, Shelley." I'd say, "Okay, great. Well, that's all right. But can you share with me why?" She says, "Oh, I'm not sick." I said, "Okay. Do you know how I see sickness?" And she said, "No." I said, "It's simply imbalance." She says, "Oh, can I make an appointment to see you then?" So we often have an understanding in our own framework around how things are. Healing being painful, or healing being I'm not sick, or, I think it's so fascinating. It's fascinating to hear from you, as I know as well, and James, we all know, that healing can also be beautiful. Healing can also be joyful and happy. It's not only doom and gloom. And why should it be?
Yeah, it's like it's general perspective, and it's always flipping a coin, because again we all can see one situation from the dark and from the beauty. So I remember somebody was saying, existence is exhausting. And I thought about it might be. It might be in certain moments it feels like that when it is overwhelmed. But it would be so tough to live entire life with that belief. It's okay to, I don't know, to embody that belief for one day because situation is like impossible to bear with. But yeah, I think it's nice to follow the white dot, and if you follow it, another dot is gonna come, and it's gonna be so much more light. And perspective change, it's probably about that. As much as we're gonna focus on this, like pain, it's gonna be pain, but we always have, there is some light. We just need to start to look for that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Elena,
thank you.
You know, in our lives, we are regularly confronted with grief or loss. Loss of a pet, like dear Shelley, she lost a pet, and and then we grieve and we lost our parents. But how can past life regression help us to handle our grief and loss better and to recover from that deep, deep pain in our hearts?
So in past life regression, we have a very beautiful technique, and it comes after the stage when person leaves the body. So when person dies in a past life, it starts to leave the body and be in that transition. So in South African Institute of Hypnotism, they taught us, and it called life between lives or soul journey. And during this period, exactly, it's when a family member or animals, maybe, we have lost, they're coming to us to welcome us. And it's like, it's reuniting. And it just exactly just to be in a realm, to have a perspective that energy doesn't go to nowhere. We are all stuck around each other. It's like transition doesn't mean dissipating. It means it goes into a different form, and eventually we're gonna find ourselves again at the same soup, at the same liquid. I don't know. And during this soul journey, we might meet those people, but we also, if even this person is not there around, again, we're gonna have this sensation that nothing is getting lost, that it's still like continuation life and another life. And because we are coming like anyway, it feels like, like people saying we are coming as a cluster of people, cluster of energies which is traveling together. Like roles gonna be changed, but person still gonna be there. The type of feeling this person gives, it's gonna be there, only unless experience is done. But even there, it might be just maybe more remote family member. And so it probably, it just gives exactly this understanding that it doesn't go to nowhere, that we are all around each other. And even when person dies, I mean, like in our real life, even if it doesn't come to past life regression, how many people like really they feel the presence of this person even more sharply? Now they can connect with this person anytime, whenever they want to. Before, maybe it was the distance. Now there is no distance. Now there is only one thought away, just one desire, and this person already like holding your hand and holding you while you being in some difficult situation. And for example, again, like people who is coming with codependency pattern, for example. And when we are traveling into past life, now we can see that a lover was the son or the father. And it becomes so, like it feels home now. Like entire this complex system, now it feels like, okay, it works this way. And it feels so much, a sense of arrival. Like, it's all there. Yeah.
The beginning of understanding. I mean, that word understanding, goodness me. It's such a big concept to understand, but there is a capacity through such a modality that you offer to have some understanding of why things are happening in my life, why there could be, and to as you say, those dots, follow those dots, but there are dots. It's not just a random situation. There's meaning. I love that.
Yeah, it's reality constantly communicating with us. It's like it's always have its own word to say, and it comes as a little event, as a little magazine cover. It's gonna be so eloquent about where you are. Yeah.
Nice to also know the sentence, energy cannot be destroyed. And to hear it from your perspective, it doesn't just go away. A person doesn't just go away, but there's still an energetic connection on some level. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elena, how do you handle or guide a person who may be experiencing something that's quite disturbing or overwhelming in the past life therapy that you offer? How do you help them?
So yeah, it might be exactly, especially if past life was rough.
Right.
And in one way, we do want if a person can feel the feeling. And from the other way, we don't want to re-traumatize. So it is some kind of desensitization when we becoming a witness. Now we kind of like coming with our current consciousness, we are present there and we are looking what is happening, and this understanding that, okay, identity which was there, it's not where I am now. So, and we are witnessing. And then we just, again, we are making conclusions about what could be done, how it would be, what for it is happening for me. Even in a current life, when it comes to childhood events, there are some events which people wouldn't want to live again because they were too bad. So we just staying not we are looking at it as a play on the scene. And we are the author. So now we can just freeze it in a moment, step up. And now we are in charge. We're in charge of this play. We can manipulate with the scenario in a way how we know gonna be beneficial for us. And again, it's where conscious mind, critical mind, it is necessary to have. It is there. It's how I'm not guiding person here. Person guides itself because they know what they would need, what they would benefit from. Yeah.
Thank you. James?
Elena, so when I refer a patient to you, I gather that they will go for a few sessions for past life regression therapy. So what normally happens after a session? How do they feel? How do they react? It's important for me to know so that when these patients come back to me, that I can now differentiate between a detox symptom and a past life regression therapy session symptom. If you can explain a little bit about that, please.
Yeah. So past life regression, usually, honestly, I didn't have people who were coming just for past life regression. I'm working on full approach with other regressions, with ancestral and with childhood regression. But it is, I know that there are some people and psychotherapists even who is working exactly only on past life. So usually the first session when we just, after rapport building, we need to know what is person person's way of perceiving. You know, we are working with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, during the first session, and it's a little bit, it looks like as a training to go into hypnosis, but it is a hypnosis by itself, because now suddenly person needs to find out what's the color for my feeling, and it's such a logical question, but it's how hypnotherapy works. So we are just pushing different buttons on this kit with many different other buttons. And for second person, now for second session, person already have a understanding what is going to be about. If person feel relaxed enough around me, if they trust in me, and I can see about, okay, it's enough rapport, and they are open to drop somewhere like as a past life and see whatever their mind gonna bring to them. Usually takes 90, 120 minutes, and integration happens in a very different ways, because some people, they gonna feel results, feel difference next day. Next day anyway, usually everybody just feel very good, because it's like to be in a blissful state for 2 hours. It's gonna have some aftermath effect. But what they're aiming to release, it might come after 2 weeks, it might come after 2 months. There are some processes which is unfolding, because we are not just releasing a back pain. There are other there are other legs of this chair which will maybe also present there, but will not notice, because this back pain was taking the main attention. So now those ones, they start to fall, and then this one is also falling, and it might take it might be few months, but it might be next day. So everybody is different and everybody is unique, and we just need to know where somebody in their journey, because it's some inner desire, like a clear intention, inner desire to overcome whatever they want to overcome. And we are working around it. So sense of rapport, it's a big one. And I believe we are all have a different needs in a way that we will not be at ease and vulnerable with every person. And to find a good facilitator for hypnotherapy, for past life regression, first thing coming into my mind, like when women have a hairdresser, she's gonna go to this hairdresser for entire life, because how unique it is, because it's how somebody just reading her needs. And here it's the same. It's just this unique resonance. And okay, it's the right person. I can open up here. Yeah. And it's a big part of the process. It covers a lot, just willingness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elena, would you be willing to share with the audience and with ourselves here any real case that you had, obviously confidentially, keeping details out, of course, but that the case was very helpful for the client, that could help to share for our audience to hear from you? A helpful case that happened for you.
I will come with that metaphorical story, because how it might seem unrelated on the first sight. When somebody came with the anger issue, and in a past life, this woman was, her father kind of threw her out of the house because she's got pregnant, and how she had to build life according to that event. She wanted to prove him that she is capable. And and eventually she have built a good life. But emotion, this kind of equation why it happened with me, like how unfair it was. That huge emotional content that somebody also pregnant, and she was like 17 or 16 years old, and it was completely unacceptable by the father that he had to do this kind of action. So in hypnosis, we were working exactly, with those kind of even psychotherapeutic technique of Gestalt therapy, when now she has to become a father and really see why he would do what he has done. And it's exactly how we are trying to widen up a perspective of someone on the issue, which is coming from, I don't know, 19th or 18th century, whenever it happened. And so the anger in this current life, she was just more in charge because she didn't want to become absolutely passive in a way when some bad things would happen with her. But now she had a chance to choose a behavior. If before it would be just a clear reaction and she would just explode and everybody would just burn away and nobody would win. So now suddenly she's just on the edge. When she just can choose, she could still feel the emotion. It's there to protect us. But now she can be more collaborative with this emotion. Now this emotion suddenly becoming a friend. And now somehow it is also, because we are building a safety. So she feels safe. So it's, for example, if you have a huge guard right around you, you feel safety. Now your emotion says that you should do something. So now she can speak, and she can speak more clearly because she feels safe, and she can be more sober because she is not overwhelmed with emotion. And what we needed for that is just to see how she was thrown out of the house at the age of 17 in 19th century. And these kind of things. How reality works and how it is illogical, and how sometimes it feels there is no explanation because it's not a logical explanation, but this emotional stuff which continues to follow us until we understand, until we releasing all the why when we are not questioning, when there is learning is done and we can move on.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. I love this work. And I love the unpacking of what appears initially as illogical, and yet when you step into the subconscious fields and all those feelings and you start working it out, it's utterly logical, just from a different perspective. I love that. Thank you, Elena. Lovely answer.
Elena, you have a fascinating discipline. And I just love to hear stories like you are telling us today. And, luckily I'm blessed with intuition. And so the thing is, a little voice in me will tell me this patient needs some past life regression therapy, and because it's not my discipline. But luckily I have a lot of advisors on my panel, if you know what I mean, that guide me through consultations with my patients, and what to do and what not to do. So your work is wonderful. Shelley, is there any other question that you would like to ask Elena before you thank her?
No, I'm just thrilled. I'd love to just chat more, but it's no further question that I have at the moment. Elena, is there anything you'd like to share with us that we haven't perhaps addressed? I've loved your interactions with us today. Is there anything you feel that
mostly probably the way how I came into hypnotherapy because it helped me. So I thought about, wow, it is cool that there is some ways how I cannot just overthink my problem and read another book and build this strategy, and this strategy doesn't work, so let's build another one, and then another just takes me in a completely even worse place. So it's just probably about that there are some more simple somatic, they call it somatic modalities And it
Yeah.
might be hypnotherapy, or it might be past life regression, it might be breath work, but how it is important and what people experience afterwards when they have done connection with something which is so very exactly might be painful, or they feel tired to experience, to connect again and again. And the resonance. Yeah, I really believe about there are some things which we cannot take our eyes off. It's kind of coming on our way, and it feels just experience. It feels like it is the right thing to do. So it is good when someone would follow this instinct. As you, James, say, you are very intuitive. So intuition is really so, it's necessary to navigate life, because it's only truth we have. The rest is constantly wobbling, everything just changing around us. And only our intuition, our gut, and our feeling, it just what we can trust fully, because it's always gonna be there. And we all have an access to it, like to do it or do not, or maybe to wait a little bit. And it might be you're waiting a little bit, it doesn't feel the right time to do past regression in the past life right now. But because you were so clear where you are in those 3 weeks, life maybe will bring to you this experience that you do not need it anymore. So eventually just everything is a completely perfect, precise pattern, and we can just trust to how it unfolds. Yeah.
Elena, where do people get hold of you? Please give our audience some information.
Mostly my clients, they're finding me on Google, Hypnosis Inside Out. And Atlantic Seaboard, here just community is quite tight. So it might be that someone's saying to somebody else. So it is a way how people connecting with me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It was lovely meeting with you and chat with you, Elena. I loved our conversation today. Thank you for being a beacon of light that helps people to know that no matter how crazy their world seems, the answers are within. And with the guiding light with you that you help, you can help them navigate through the journeys of their life. Thank you. Lovely chat.
I absolutely agree. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you so much for your time, Elena. We really appreciate that. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, I say goodbye and blessings to you all. Goodbye.
Goodbye.